did Lil Pab die? Lil Pab died in August 19th, 2022. This case that Durk had was from was from 2019, and magically a month after or 2 months after Lil Pab dies, the Atlanta police come out and say, we're dropping that other case versus Vaughn. No, not versus Durk. That sounds like to me the feds were on him already and wanted to pick up the case. So the state said, all right, we'll back off. Don't that make sense? Chat, follow me. When getting arraigned for this and in pretrial hearings, they had a cop testify. First of all, they brought a cop from Chicago who said, yo, he's a BD. Another cop testified. We have Durk Banks on surveillance. Hand out the car, pulling the trigger, shooting at the guy. Yet, after Vaughn dies, magically, and I'm going to show you the statement they made. They said, oh, we just don't have enough evidence no more. Well, why did y'all have a detective testify y'all have Durk on surveillance? The case was open for 3 years, and magically 2 months or a month after Lil Pab died, they drop it.
It never happened, so it's not clear what he was really talking about. Durk and his fans spent years not knowing how the situation was going to turn out.
Years.
But in October 2020,
magically. Matter of fact, October 22nd, which is damn near August, September, October, damn near 60 days to the date, they dropped it.
they finally got some good news. The Fulton County DA's office announced they were dropping.
Look, the facts of this case have been reviewed, and although it appeared that probable cause existed for the defendant's arrest, the decision of the district attorney at this time is not to prosecute. Chat. Fonnie Willis is over here prosecuting Young Thug like she put anything together. She was overzealous by that. By the way, she looked a little young. We got to go get that video to see that. I mean, but still. Don't it sound like the feds picked it up? Don't it sound like this might be in a RICO? Chat. If Fonnie Willis is dropping a case against you, somebody's. Let me go back a little bit.
What we're talking about. Durk and his fans spent years not knowing how the situation was going to turn out. But in October 2022, they finally got some good news. The Fulton County DA's office announced they were dropping the case against him and said, the facts of this case have been reviewed, and although it appears that probable cause existed for the defendant's arrest, the decision of the district attorney at this time is not to prosecute. Nope.
Let's go back here now. Let's get some more details on that. Because people were confused by that. I remember I was even confused. Lil Durk, Atlanta DA dismiss. Look. Hold on. So before they had a probable cause hearing. Look.
Against you by a probable cause standard, and they will attempt to do that by the witnesses that they place in the witness chair over.
And they basically did.
Murder. Court notes that, and as everyone is aware here, the standard here is a probable cause standard, which is a far lower standard than the standard beyond a reasonable doubt.
So this was a preliminary hearing. Remember I told you the way how you could get an indictment? Well, this is state. So, a criminal complaint is against the arrest, but below the state. I mean, even federally. Regardless, the way how you get an indictment is two ways. A preliminary hearing. We seen ASAP Rocky. By the way, we got to talk about ASAP Rocky. I feel like I'm so sorry we're talking about so much court shit with all the favorite entertainers that we like. But ASAP Rocky is going to court. They set a final court date. I believe it's in January or February. And that case is going to look a lot like Tory's case. And we've seen Tory get 10. Now, Tory don't got $1 billion girlfriend or $1 billion baby mama like how ASAP got. But essentially, he's taking that to trial. That's going to happen in February. They had a conference and they set that. So we're going to see what happened there. But A preliminary hearing is to analyze the facts to see if there is probable cause for this to go to trial. And they basically did this. They brought the detectives, this and third, and it was granted. You'll hear.
Which is the jury trial standard. And as it relates to the charge of participation in the criminal street gang activity, as to both of these defendants and both of these indictments, I do believe that the state has hurdled over that particular burden. I think they've met probable cause and they have been able to surpass probable cause. I do believe that the state has more work to do as it relates to that particular charge in these indictments in reaching a beyond a reasonable doubt standard. And I'm sure that the state is working to continue to investigate and will make whatever decisions they deem appropriate to make that particular burden at the appropriate juncture. All right?
712.
So they granted the preliminary hearing on that, right? This
Case against a rapper accused.
Here we go.
The morning on Perch, police on tape shooting a gun.
You see Mr. Banks' arm out the window firing several shots at the victim, towards the victim.
Banks' attorney says this is a celebrity witch hunt.
Were it not for the celebrity status of these two individuals, then this would be an aggravated assault.
Banks released a single "Turn Myself In" the day he turned himself in. It's gotten almost 7 million views. The prosecutor charging this wasn't just a robbery and shooting, but gang activity. She put a Chicago detective on the stand to testify that Banks and Bennett are members of Chicago gangs.
Is it possible to continue your affiliation and even commit crimes when you move out of Chicago if you're in a different city or if a different area?
Yes, ma'am.
The judge ruled today there is enough evidence to move forward with all.
Okay, so despite that, they still dropped
Going
it.
against you.
Sorry, give me a second. I'm trying to figure out that Atlanta DA declines Durk. Because now we're kind of figuring out like, oh shit, we should have knew the feds were on his tail. And maybe that's what was being communicated. Remember I told you that someone told me from Atlanta, it was an Atlanta press member that said, yo, the feds is on to him. But they did tell me that after his case got dropped. Which I guess maybe it was kind of understood that the feds picked that shit up. Hold on. Durk Vaughn. Hold on. Wait, where is this article? Everything's bringing everything. They declined to prosecute. Decline to. Okay, charges. I'll just Google this. Charges dropped against. Give me a second. Yeah, I think a superseded indictment is going to contain this chat. I'm very sorry to say. Hold on, I'm trying to find the appropriate video. Can't find it, it's all good. I'll just play this.
Now to what's new now and next. New tonight, a major update on a story we followed for years. Prosecutors have dropped all charges against rapper Lil Durk after his real name, Derek Banks. Back in 2019, the rapper spoke exclusively with Channel 2 after turning himself in. Police say he was involved in a shooting outside the Varsity. Now Fulton County's DA office says it will not prosecute him. In the last 20 minutes, Durk's lawyer sent us a statement saying, quote, while it took 3 years for the state to make the right decision, in the end, the right decision was made, and Mr. Banks can finally put this event behind him.
I'll go to the TMZ article. Lil Durk is off the hook. He was facing 5 felonies. And apparently his lawyers are going to obviously say it should have been dropped a long time ago for lack of evidence. My bad if I'm a little bit low. I'm leaning back. at least according to his attorney. Fonnie Willis recently filed paperwork with the court declining to move forward with the case because of prosecutorial discretion. Yeah, that should have told us there. But she declined to elaborate beyond that. Willis noticed that there was a probable cause to initially arrest Durk, but after a thorough review of the facts, she decided to move forward with the case. Now, here's what's very incorrect with this case that people don't know. People kept saying incorrectly that Durk blamed the gun and the shooting on Vaughn because he was dead, and or that was going to be his plan, so the prosecutor didn't go forward. And everybody kept saying, "Oh no, you blamed it on Vaughn. You blamed it on Vaughn." Well, he didn't get a chance to put forth a defense, right? He didn't get a chance because they didn't get to trial. Now, maybe there's a possibility that Fonnie Willis thought, well, damn, one of the defendants are dead. The other, we don't have their face on the camera. The other guy's just going to blame it on the other guy, right? He's going to blame it on the dead guy. So maybe that's what it is. Or again, maybe it's because the feds picked it up. Or Aurora insisted Durk never committed a crime that day despite his presence at the scene, and added it was a shame it took 3 years to finally drop the charge, but he's not surprised because he believes prosecutors often drag out cases to save face. Wow, interesting.
Nobody knows exactly how much evidence they really had against him, but apparently it wasn't strong enough for them to take it to trial. But even though Durk is free and safe from the charges, if Vaughn was still alive, he'd probably be in jail right now. The DA said Vaughn would still be investigated.
The DA office has declined to indict Durk for the February 5th, 2019 incident because of insufficient evidence exists to prove his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt at trial. If co-defendant Davon Bennett, aka King Von, had not died in 2020, he would have been indicted for the incident. As stated in the motion declined to indict Mr. Banks, the Atlanta Police Department had evidence to establish probable cause to arrest him. The standard of proof, however, is considerably lower than the beyond a reasonable doubt standard of proof to require a trial.
For the shooting if he didn't die. And he was also being investigated for at least 3 murders back in Chicago. Vaughn caught a gun charge in 2012, but now the cops think he killed a dude from STL EBT named Odell that same year. His homie T-Roy was the main suspect for a long time, but a leaked report says that now the police think Vaughn was the shooter. He was allegedly involved with a bunch of other shootings, and some think Vaughn had killed up to 10 people before he died. FBG Duck was murdered just a couple of months before Vaughn.
Interesting.